There we go. Every once in a while, I'm like, oh my God, gotta hit some buttons. That's how it works here. Get a hold of us online at jiggyjaguar.com. Dial us up, and we are going to go to Denmark and talk to LeBuc, the LeBuc man. He says hello from Denmark, and we are going to go to LeBuc.
Hello.
He is going to join us live. How are you, sir?
I'm so good. It's Sunday. It's nice. There's Tour de France. It's all good.
That is awesome. That is awesome. We have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here in our broadcast. LeBuc is with us. He is fantastic. And so you have a lot of cool things going on. What have you been up to recently, my friend?
Oh, well, I put out a single recently called Summer Nights, which kind of was a celebration of the Scandinavian summer nights. Maybe you're familiar with the phenomenon that the sun really doesn't go down here. So it's really light until 10:30 in the evening, and it doesn't really get dark. And there's just something really special about that. So, yeah, I try to make a track that could kind of capture that feeling.
That's awesome. We've got a great guest with us today. He joins us here on our big broadcast, coast to coast, and border to border on iHeartRadio today, and also AMFM247.com. And LeBuc is with us, and LeBuc has his latest track, Summer Nights. So tell me a little bit about the writing process, production process, everything with this.
Yeah. Well, it starts with an idea. And you just like, I think many musicians has that issue that you have a ton of ideas and this one is good, and then you don't really get it finished, and then you start a new project, and so I've learned over the years that either you just did it right away, or you keep working on it until you're actually able to finish it, because all of a sudden you end up with 100 unfinished songs, and you can't really use that for anything. So I think over the years I've just learned that you gotta finish what you start.
That's awesome. It's LeBuc. He's joining us today here in our program. Summer Nights is the latest from him, and he joins us today here on our big broadcast. So you've put this song out there. What's been the reaction to the tune so far?
So far, it's streaming pretty okay. There's a couple of radios actually playing it right now. So it's pretty okay. I'm quite satisfied. So that's good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we are going to do this. I'm going to place you on a brief hold here on Skype, and we are going to play this track. And we've got more coming up with our guest. It is LeBuc. It is Summer Nights, and it's here on your big program. That is LeBuc. That is Summer Nights. And it's here on your big broadcast. We are live coast to coast with LeBuc. Oh, yeah, LeBuc. He's big time. He's so big time he needs 2 G's. And LeBuc is back with us here on our big program. And so that song is amazing. Tell me a little bit about how you put this track together.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot. I want to add some, and that's kind of a rule for me. I want to add some real live instruments. Of course, I play the piano, but it can be a very generic genre. This one I'm working in. So in order to stand just a little out of the crowd, I've always add some guitars. I play guitars, and maybe there's a bass line that would work there, so I play the live bass as well. Drums in this genre is programmed, but you can still just add a drum and just record it still. And then often I build a lot of layers to these songs, and I bounce them and I go and listen to them on my phone and at home in order to hear it in the car as well. That's a really good trick. And to hear how it sounds. And then you sometimes discover that there's just too much happening. So you got to go back, and it is really less is more, and then just remove stuff. And it's a process. And then out in the car again, and maybe put it on your in headphones when you run, and see, hey, does it work for this as well? And at the end of that process, I have a track, and I send it to my good friend. And he does the mastering, and that's it. And then I put it out.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, tell me about some of the different musical instruments that you've played over the years, and how you got to the point where you do them so well.
Oh God! So I started on the trumpet. That was my first instrument. I went to 4th grade, and then my parents also sent me to play some some organ, but not a cool organ, not a B3 like a Hammond or something, but something where it's not cool. So I then went to boarding school, which is a pretty common thing here in Denmark. It's not like the strict ones you see in movies from Britain and stuff like that. It's pretty laid back, and they were very creative. And all of a sudden there was a bass there. And since the guitar was taken, I thought, okay, maybe I can noodle around with the bass. And all of a sudden, you were playing together with other people, and you were playing the bass. And it was also, they had a drum kit, so I was just like, oh my God, this sounds cool. And so all over the drums. And then at the last year at this boarding school, I picked up the guitar, and there was a lot of cool guitar players at the school. So it was like I just kept it for myself. But then I went to gymnasium, and all of a sudden that people didn't play guitar there for some odd reason. A lot of people played piano, but all of a sudden I was the best guitar player, and I wasn't very good. So when people wanted to, they had music and they should sing solo, and they wanted to have a guitar player with them. So they asked me, because I was basically the only one who played guitar. So I was just like, ooh, shoot. And I got the chord sheets, and I was just like, oh my God, here's a chord. I don't know it. I have to learn it. I have 2 days to learn this. So I had a very steep learning curve then, and all of it, just learned a lot of guitars and found, if you play this one and you got this chord, and kind of figured it out. And that's kind of the way I learned it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So when you wanna bring in other instruments, do you find someone to play them? Do you play them? How does this work?
I do it myself. That's the fastest and the easiest for me. That's simple as that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But by the way, I have to say thanks to those super patient teachers also, because without these teachers, that I think a lot of musicians, if you ask them, there's been this significant person who was saying that you got to practice, you got to do this,
Yep.
you can do it. This is notes, you can read them, and we're super patient with us kids, and because trust me, it didn't sound good all the time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, LeBuc, before we let you go, my friend, how do we get in touch with you on the web, social media, buy your music, contribute to what you're doing?
Oh, thanks. What I really would appreciate if people did was that they followed me on Spotify, and it's simply LeBuc there. And on Spotify, there's also links to my other social media profiles. I'm on Instagram. I'm pretty sure it's called LeBuc Music, and on Facebook as well, LeBuc Music.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, you are tremendous. Keep us up to speed on everything that you're doing. Thanks for making time for us once again, and keep putting out great music, my friend. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me. Have a nice day.
Appreciate it, brother. There he goes. That
Thank
is
you.
LeBuc. He is fantastic. And that wraps it up here for this segment. We are going to take a brief time out. When we come back, we've got more on our big program.